Wrestling fans are just the worst. They really are the worst. So I've legit seen this story that's just come out recently. Apparently, because of an outcry on Twitter, the dancers on Raw Underground have been removed. They're gone. This was due to apparently Medusa apparently tweeted out saying, "I thought we were beyond that." And then apparently because her and Lance Storm tweeted this out, and a bunch of absolute idiots tweeted this out, they've got rid of the dancers. They got rid of the only good thing on that segment. The only decent thing, they got rid of it. Because I know what we'll do. We'll hear from the people that really are on AEW's payroll, which is a smart thing for AEW. That's why AEW, whether people like to admit this or not, AEW in a PR sense is beating WWE in a PR sense. Because not only do they have the wrestling news people under their thumb, they also are taking down YouTubers as well. The whole effing show got taken down because they had the whole Sammy, whatever the hell his name is. They put out a video, and then because they put that video out, boom, gone. Channel gone. So, in a PR sense, AEW is annihilating everyone. They're like What Culture in 2014, alright? But it's just like, I want to show you this, because this is how beyond it's essentially become. This is generally how beyond it's essentially become, because what's happening is that we're seeing wrestling fans just not being cool anymore. Wrestling fans now have just allowed this type of behavior to happen. They think, oh my god, like, and these are the same people. They always say, my darling and my queen. They're the same types of people. They have at least some type of, they either have really long hair and are incredibly fat, or they're just like, they dye their hairs purple, and then they like just look like, they don't even look like real men. Like, I'm not even joking you. Like, these people just have no opinion. Like, these aren't even the term beta male. They're just, honestly, from my perspective, they're just subhuman. It's beyond me. Like, the way that wrestling's going right now is horrendous. Like, and I'm not talking about AEW versus NXT or WWE Raw. I'm talking about the overall fan base has just become these self-absorbent, I want to shout out from this wrestler kind of mentality. Like, these people, from my perspective, they just don't have an opinion. They just like, my queen. You tell him, girl. You tell him, girl. My queen. Oh, my queen. Like, it's just, they say the same thing. Like, they say the same thing. I want to show you something that I got right here. So just bear with me. I'm gonna get this actual article for yourselves, alright? I'm gonna get this article that I shared, okay? First of all, I'd like to praise Liv Morgan. Fair play to her. She actually stood up for the dancers because, you know, she's normal. She doesn't want people losing their jobs. But, you know, people like Medusa and Lance Storm, of all goddamn people, apparently were like, oh no. So this is what Medusa said, and I quote, "So, we are bringing back half-naked women in the same breath of promoting the evolution of equality of women. It's got nothing to do with that, okay? I actually know women that dance, and they don't do it in, like, some type of sleazy kind of, like, you know, that type of way. They want to do it because they generally enjoy it. They get paid to do it. They actually like it. There's not... This whole thing that people are hiding from, like, sexuality is just actually hurting society more as a whole. If we keep hiding people away from this type of thing, they'll end up looking for other ventures. And this is the problem as a society problem as well. People are just so ashamed of, like, sexuality and sex in general, okay? It's almost like, I would even say back when I was in school, okay? the whole sex education is like, Mr. Teddy came here and he tried to get him. And then, like, people are ashamed of that. And it's just annoying me. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of this. Like, I hate this philosophy that people, like, the same as that idiot Terry Crews and his brigade on trying to get rid of that website, which I can't mention because it'll instantly get flagged down. But he mentioned a certain website, you all know what I mean, and he's trying to take it down. And he's like, oh, I demand, like, he said, like, he acted like it was a government society. We have to abolish this. I'm like, no, just because you can't handle your business, and because your wife nags at you on a daily goddamn basis, and because she annoys you, and you did stupid shit whenever you had to, doesn't mean that you have to completely throw your opinion and try and turn everyone against each other. I'm sick of this whole thing. Like, everyone right now just doesn't have an opinion, okay? Yes, we're going old school, ladies and gentlemen. We might as well get my vape while I'm at it. I'm going a little bit old Jerry a wee bit here because this generally annoyed me. It's very rare that I talk about wrestling. It's very rare I generally get annoyed by an actual subject, but I'm generally annoyed by this. I'm really annoyed by this. Medusa's dumbass said, equality for women. Yes, this is entertainment. Yes, this is a skit. Yes, this is acting. Yes, these are wrestlers. Why resort to women? Sexy dancing show. Why not men in Speedos? Because they already do it, Medusa. They already do it. They already do it. Or Sonya Blaze, as you call her. This coming from the same woman that grabbed the title and threw it in the trash. But you're gonna listen to her, though, you know, despite the fact she's representing AEW and, you know, that whole brigade of AEW wants to do everything to destroy WWE. I swear to God, Randy Orton is the only saving goddamn grace in WWE because at least he's replying to these idiots. I think WWE, and I want to make it entertaining, can WWE just take the absolute piss out of AEW? Like, just try, okay? Because AEW keeps mentioning WWE. Some things are funny, but majority of them are just some cringy, just ridiculous stuff. Like, Y2J called out Jim Cornette saying that he's banned from watching AEW, and Jim Cornette did an amazing response. Like, amazing response. And I just feel as if, like, and the thing is, I don't hate AEW. I will say this, in a PR standpoint, AEW's killing it in a PR standpoint, because what they're essentially doing is that they've, I think, from my perspective, they've bought over or they've renegotiated with these wrestling news sites to be pro AEW, and then all you hear is bad news from WWE, and then you have these people that can't see that there is a bias in the news. There is a clear bias in wrestling news right now, and it's actually disgusting. It's generally disgusting, like, and I don't even know, and the thing is, I don't hate AEW. I do think that, I think this whole, like, I hate AEW, fuck the indies, blah blah, I don't think it's an amazing show. I don't think anyone in the right mind would think that it's the best show ever. If you honestly think that, you are probably the types of people that would follow a group of people off a bloody bridge. That's the types of people that you are. Liv Morgan, fucking legend, said, "We have come so far in evolution and with no signs of slowing down. I don't think in any danger showing beautiful women proudly dancing. Believe it or not, huge money making profession. Doesn't hurt anything, empower all women." Right, that's fine, you know. Liv Morgan kind of said it best, you know, and not the way I would go about it, but she said it best. I mean, what you've essentially done, these people on Twitter, is that they've, with all due respect, they've, and this is with all due respect, they've kind of put these three women out of a job. That's what they've done. Like, they put these women out of a job. And, look, she's so pro AEW. She's on AEW. And people are just, like, eating this up. It's unbelievable how people just don't have... It's just ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. I want to read some of the tweets from these idiots that replied to her. God, I really hope I get an actual... I hate Twitter, man, I swear to God. Okay. You know, I respect you saying it's correct, but this is when AEW was using bikini models in the crowd on stage at Filler Fest 2 years in a row. They were flirting with and overly sexualizing during entrances. Lance Storm wrote, "I completely agree. I will pop huge tonight, though. If they do a women's underground and have 3 Chip and Dale type dancers, if you're going to do eye candy, at least do it for everyone. Fucking cuck. So, gonna look at more replies here because I want to see what some people have to say. Lab Myelsa, I mean, come on, that's all I'm saying. As women, we are all over here bored to death. You're the best. It's just like, stop. This is the thing, you're using your pro-feminist fucking attitude to essentially put over a corporation. That's the issue that I have with this. Just some guy wrote simple wrestling news opinions. At least someone has been bought over. Just because you're part of AEW now, don't follow their hype on shitting on everything WWE does. We all know Tony and Cody have wrote in their contracts you have to shit on WWE. But as a Hall of Famer, don't be like this. Do better. She wrote, I respect your answer. I'm not saying you are wrong. Nor should I tell me I'm wrong. Nobody in AEW told me to shit on anybody, nor would I. These are my beliefs on how I feel about women being exposed and promoted. You shouldn't falsely say things when you don't know the truth. She didn't say no, though, about the contract. Blue Meanie wrote, let me see. I agree, Medusa. This guy called Joe, whatever. I agree, Medusa. Just another attempt at ratings. Eat, sleep, repeat. This will fizzle out like everything else. Honestly, they need to let creative run the show. Vince needs to step down. I'm so sick and tired of this typical one-word answer. Like, see these idiots on Twitter? It's between 4 or 5 different answers. I hate Vince. Vince needs to step down. WWE needs to be like AEW. And there's creative, blah 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 blah. And I've said these things as well, but it's just because people have essentially taken what the YWC opinion about 5 years ago and they've just put it in now. And it's annoying. Like, everyone now is acting like as if there's some fucking YWC personality now on Twitter. It's actually fucking cringy, and it actually does my head in. I just think wrestling now, and they've taken these 2 dancers out. The only decent thing in this entire show, the only goddamn decent thing, and this is why, ladies and gentlemen, there will never ever be an Attitude Era. Okay, there'll never be a second Attitude Era because of this. Okay, unfortunately, it's not gonna happen because people in general right now are, to quote a legend, Big Lanny from the Del Rey Misfits, a bunch of cookie cutters. They're a bunch of cookie cutters. I want that saying now to be an official thing. Cookie cutters. I'm going to start saying that now. I'm sure Big Lanny won't mind. But these wrestling fans are cookie cutters. Completely and utterly cookie cutters. They're the same people with these multicolored hairs and their stupid, idiotic philosophies, and they're trying to get shoutouts. Twitter has just ruined wrestling right now. Wrestling fans are just absolute idiots. Completely and utter goddamn idiots. I hate them all. I hate every single goddamn one of them. I just can't stand it anymore. I just can't. God damn it. Like, what happened to the wrestling fan? Do you remember when wrestling fans that wore like South Park t-shirts and gave like middle fingers and went, fuck you, fuck you? Now you got these people, like these men now, with like Bailey t-shirts and like signs saying hug me. Like, that's what it's become. Like, that's what wrestling's become. And the very thing that you hear about WWE, AEW do exactly the goddamn same thing. It's an SJW fed. If you can't render that thing, just look at it. And I like AEW to a certain degree. I do think that I'm not going to completely shit on it. But this whole thing that Cody Rhodes said, that AEW ain't going to be this whole AEW's going to be a fucking completely different thing. It's not going to be an indie fed. Wrong. It's an indie fed. we're not gonna dig up old WWE wrestlers. Wrong. Majority of the actual entire roster is WWE talent. In fact, it's gotten to the point where AEW fans are pissed off at Cody Rhodes because he's brought in too many WWE talent. Because guess what? It's looking exactly like TNA. And I'm sick of this. Oh, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are apparently in TNA. I could not care less. I think I could think of a million different things better to do than watch TNA. TNA's just done. So see these pro TNA fans, just go away. It's WWE versus AEW now. TNA had its chance. You lost. You get about 60,000 views on Twitch. Piss off. Okay? These people are saying there's a resurgence in TNA. No, there's not. It's terrible. It's awful. Don't give me this crap that it's amazing. I actually watched a bit of it. I fell asleep. I just generally fell asleep. It was just not great. Oh, Carl Anderson, they're gonna change the world. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're just terrible. They're awful. Absolutely awful. And I don't like it. I don't like them. I don't like wrestling in general. I hate it. I really just hate wrestling. I really do. I really needed that. I really generally needed that. Savor this now, because there ain't going to be another rant like this for a while. Until I get probably pissed off at another thing, but I don't know, man, like, I'm just so sick of it. I'm just sick of wrestling fans now. I think they've just become the absolute worst. They're just the worst now. They're just not even funny. Like, just the YouTubers are just not funny. Like, it's just... You remember that episode in South Park where Stan looks at everything and everything's just shit? That's how I feel about wrestling now. It's just shit. Just awful. Like, it's not even a war. A battle of ratings. They can barely get 1 million. And then, like, everyone's like, AEW's changing places. They got, like, 900,000 views. Then they immediately went to 7,000. Like, there's not even that much of a difference between it. And WWE aren't helping matters either. They're just completely awful. WWE have been completely goddamn awful recently. I mean, you know, the underground thing, the MMA thing, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of it. I honestly think the underground thing just needs to be a hardcore kind of separate thing. You know what I mean? Like a Raw After Dark. I made a video on that already. It's just awful. Just wrestling is just a joke right now. I don't know. Anyway, General Jerry on the General Jerry channel signing out. Hope you enjoyed the rant, folks. Hope you enjoyed the rant.